Alright, so I'm gonna stay sober for the next 2 weeks. For the next week. Because I've just realized making these videos on how to, focus upon the spaceship is very, sobering because it's like very crucial and critical that I do stay sober because that would be the quickest way to enact upon this manifestation of the spaceship. Again, I would really not be able to, in my opinion, conceive of this idea uh, because like the only way you can create it, because it would be so massively intelligent and big for the whole of humanity, it would need to be funded by like the richest corporations and companies and banks. And that'd be like I guess possibly Rothschild, because I'm doing research and I am delving into how did I think upon the idea of a spaceship for the whole humanity. The spaceship, the color is purple. Why is it purple? Because in space everything's black, and so if it's purple, it's like camouflaged in space, and it is bright to the color of the eye in space because it's purple and compared to relative to the color black. Plus it's camouflaged, so you're not like really bright sticking out in space as if you're like possibly a sun to the naked eye, and they would think it's a sun, a moving sun or something, or they would know it's a ship. Other races would know it's a ship, but it's bright and sticking out like really weird. So, and it would be going in all these crazy directions, dodging comets or teleporting or something. Teleporting. And so, how did I think upon this purple spaceship for the whole of humanity? Because I was just like thinking of I was looking at a map. I was looking at all the poorest countries in the world today. I was looking at the continent of Africa, and the second I was realizing like, oh, we need to like, the best thing we need to do to help the karma, and the karma, this in a spiritual science and a reality changing like way, perspective would be to feed everyone, to keep people alive. That's good karma. And so I'm looking at all the poor countries, and we would need to like unionize Africa and the Middle East and many other parts of the world, so that we can create good karma. And I was looking at the continent of Africa, and when I was looking at the continent of Africa, I put my finger upon the continent of Africa, and I let go, and within like my third eye, I saw like this big purple spaceship manifest closest to the continent of Africa. And so it's as if like the creation of the exterior of the spacecraft it will be like from Africa, near the closest will be um, place for creation will be near Africa. Where will it be near Africa? So okay, I was like, okay, so purple spacecraft, Africa, continent of Africa, matching. Okay, uh, I guess that's where it matches. Purple spacecraft, continent of Africa. Where would this be? I guess that continent is attributed to the creation of the exterior of the spacecraft, which is purple. And I guess the other continents can help create other parts of the spacecraft and how it would work, and the mechanics, the machinery, and the evolution as well. And so, how, okay, and so I'm like looking at all the continents and I'm picking which continents will do what. And so I have like in the back of my mind like which continents will do what for them to help create and control the spacecraft as well as a job, as a race, possibly as well as if it's the best, or maybe it's all on a subjective individual level as far as jobs are concerned, possibly, and duties, responsibilities. And so I'm looking at all the continents and seeing what they can create for the spacecraft. And okay, now I'm looking online and I'm starting to realize, alright, it would take a long time for humanity to create a spacecraft that can travel outside of this solar system, galaxy, other constellations, and within the universe interdimensionally. It would take a long time for humanity to create that. And so I'm looking online. Well, okay, I realize that it would take thousands, hundreds of thousands of years to create that kind of feat for humanity. That's insane. That shows how. That shows that we are intelligent and capable of doing. Why? Because it's about keeping the global big banks alive as long as possible as like a human species, as a form of like life. And so to keep the global big banks alive as long as possible is to keep the human species alive for eternity. And I guess in essence, subjectively for eternity. to keep the global big banks alive for eternity and for as long as possible is surely for eternity, as long as possible, firmly. And so to do that, we would need to eventually colonize outer space and possibly even interdimensionally. And so that's how I started realizing like this spacecraft is a necessity for like the very intelligence of humanity. And because if we can create a banking system, then we can live. We need to keep that banking system alive because that represents us, humanity, as well. Because we need to, if we can keep that alive for eternity, that means we're keeping the race of humanity alive for eternity as well. So we need to eternalize the global big banks, is what I'm saying. And so that's how I started like realizing who is the most powerful entities on Earth. And I'm realizing like I do a lot of research with spirit, and so I know like there's a lot of yogis in India, Tibet, the Dalai Lama, saints on the southeastern, I think, side of the world, somewhere more secretive, where there's a lot of saints. And I feel the energies already just talking about them. They are aware right now as I am talking about them. And, oh wow, it feels really good. It's a blessing. And so, okay, and so now I'm realizing like who are the most richest, powerful people in the world. And I'm realizing like I've come down to like Rothschild and um, Rockefeller, and all these. I'm realizing these families are banksters. So like I'm looking at it in a spiritual aspect with my third eye, like with what I've known from living as 25 years, and I'm seeing like all these powerful people like Rothschild. These guys, I'm doing research, and these guys are actually banksters, and that's why they're so powerful. And so that means they should be very intelligent and wise as well. Because if you're going to be a bankster and be able to keep the monetary life for humanity as a whole race, then you should be intelligent, and they are. And so I'm realizing, okay, to fit this whole earth and the whole of humanity as a whole in a one picture, the goal would be to keep it intelligent and wise, to show that humanity is intelligent and wise. We would need to eternalize the global big bangs, and we need to create a spaceship that we can get off of Earth, so that we can live for eternity. And that means that the spaceship that I and Rothschild have founded upon is a purple spacecraft, and that continent that it came from is Africa. And we need to create this spacecraft so that we can eternalize global big bangs. And that means eternalize the whole human race as a whole human species, and individually, subjectively.